Hi, welcome to Eastern Wellness with Dr. Sufei Kaim. Eastern Wellness with Dr. Kaim is a weekly podcast meant for anyone looking for ways to improve the quality of their life, regardless of their current health status. Eastern Wellness with Dr. Kaim covers a variety of different health and wellness topics like nutrition, sleep, exercise, toxins, emotional health, and so much more. Dr. Kaim interviews health experts about tips, techniques, and trends in wellness, as well as regular people who have their own wellness pearls to share. For more health and wellness tips and resources, visit Dr. Sufei Kaim's YouTube channel, and that's Dr. Sufei Kaim, Sufeikime. Thanks for listening.
On today's episode, I sit down with Dr. Sue Massie, naturopath doctor, and Dr. Sue has been amazing practitioner. She has been practiced more than 20 years. And so she's just so amazing. She touched so many people's life, and she has been helping save a lot of people over the year. So I want you to so Dr. Sue, tell us about yourself and what you do and area of your expertise.
Okay. First of all, Dr. Kaim, thank you so much for having me today. It's just an honor to be here, and I just love sharing knowledge and wisdom and just learning, and it's just an exciting adventure. So thank you so much for this podcast. Basically, I'm a naturopathic doctor. That is not a medical doctor at all. I don't diagnose and I don't treat patients. I go to the original meaning of doctor, which is to teach. I teach my patients about their health, about their body, about what's going on and what is out of balance. And then I teach them how to get back into balance, taking organic whole food supplements that nourish and feed the body and bring it back to balance. So that's basically it. I love what I do. I've been doing this for many years. Officially, and years ago, before I even got my degrees, I got into this because of my own health. So that's what I do basically. My expertise, oh, I'm sorry, you asked me my expertise. My expertise, I feel that my expertise is in degenerative neurological disease. That's what the medical world calls it. I call it that something's wrong, okay? Where you know that you have symptoms and you go to the doctors and you get your CBC, your blood work and so forth, and the doctors just say, everything's fine, there's nothing wrong with you. But you know that you know something's wrong. So my specialty is Lyme disease. Lyme disease has affected my family tremendously. I have 6 children, and my husband and I, and we've all been affected by Lyme disease, as well as both my mom, my dad, my extended family. And it's just been horrific. And I learned about it starting way back in the early 1990s, when there wasn't a whole lot of knowledge about it back then. But for my husband and I alone, it was very devastating, to the point that I was paralyzed from the neck down. In May of 1999, they thought I had Lou Gehrig's, ALS, before anybody even knew about it. And I couldn't walk, talk, and they gave me 3 years and said I'd be dead. So I just knew that wasn't correct, because I knew I had to do what I felt was right, which was alternative therapies. And at the time I had what's called a Rife machine. And I used my Rife machine, and then later I bought a PEMF machine, which is pulsed electromagnetic field machine. And through these modalities, along with a lot of other things, detoxing, cleansing, etc., obviously I regained my health. So it's a very personal story for me as well. I've also dealt with breast cancer, no chemo, no radiation, no surgery, and no breast cancer. So again, it's a learning process of what's going on. And the third one I had was a degenerative disc in the back, where they said I had to have surgery. I couldn't walk again. Blown out disc in the L5S1, the lower back, completely healed, no surgery. So I believe, give the body what it needs, the body heals itself.
Amazing story. So what are your 3 top wellness tips?
Well, at 63 years old, the first thing I want to tell people, because I think as you get older, we do get a little wiser. And again, being a mom of 6 kids, I have 8 grandchildren. I believe that the number one thing that I try to teach people is to love yourself. And I know that sounds, so trite, or, today it's mindfulness and so forth. But the truth is to love yourself. And when we really look at it, if you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, and really mean it, that's amazing. But most people cannot. We deal with a lot of depression and oppression, and we're all fighting with each other today, especially. I mean, we're just lacking so much love in this world. So if you start by loving yourself and filling your own bucket up, then you can go out and share it with everybody else like sunshine, and I think that's very important. So loving yourself is one. The second thing is, don't take no for an answer. And I don't mean that to be rude or obnoxious, but if you're going to doctors and there's things are wrong and you feel it, you just know it. You're not sleeping right. You're not having proper bowel movements. Your energy is terrible, whatever's going on. And the doctors keep saying there's nothing wrong with you. Keep digging, okay? Because you definitely have something out of balance. And that's when I love what I do, because I can teach you what's going on. And the third is to hydrate yourself. People don't drink enough water, but even if they're drinking water, they don't have the right minerals in the body to hold on to the water and actually nourish the cells. So you can be drinking it and going to the bathroom a lot, but you're not taking in that hydration. And that goes along also with, be aware of what you put in your mouth all day long. I know that sounds ridiculous, but a lot of people eat and they don't even realize that they're eating. They're running all day. They stop, grab a snack, grab a coffee, grab a bagel, and cream cheese or whatever. And they're just like, go, 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 go. And then when you're home, if you're home, especially today, working at home, people are just grabbing things left and right, not realizing what they're eating. So I think those three are my top things.
Wow. So what is your favorite success story?
Would that be as far as a patient? I told you my success stories, but again, I don't give myself credit at all. I just believe God has a plan for me, and I just keep following that plan. But one of my favorite success stories is I had a patient that was 81, 82 years old, and her daughter brought her to me, and they gave her about 6 months to live. I think she was on 8 or 10 medications, and we started her on, again, organic whole food supplements and so forth. She lived to be 102. She just passed away a couple of years ago, but 102 and living at home with her daughter, which is amazing. So I think that's a tremendous success story, not for me again, but just the fact that, to take care of her, nourish her, feed her, and she had all that time with her daughter, which I thought was amazing.
Wow.
I got a bunch of them. I got a whole bunch of those kind of stories, but it's just
Yeah,
really,
can you share one more?
I have another one, a gentleman, Vietnam vet. He was a Black Hawk helicopter operator, and he only had one kidney. And he came to me again. They gave him maybe 3 to 6 months to live, and that was 6 years ago. And again, through organic whole food, detoxing, cleansing, a whole boatload of stuff going on, but he was compliant. He did everything, and he's doing fantastic. So, it's just these wonderful stories that, and they're so grateful because he was supposed to be gone over 6 years ago. And, I'm just, again, so grateful.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So what's the best health and wellness advice you ever given?
I think the best is listen to your body. Don't accept this is just the way I am. People will tell me, well, you're just 63 years old. If you have aches and pains, just get used to it. It's part of aging. If you're getting brain fog and losing your memory, if you have, pains in your stomach, if your legs hurt, if you have joint pain, whatever's going on, don't just accept a medical diagnosis. I'll give you an example. A lot of my patients come to me with rheumatoid arthritis, okay? And they say, well, this is just the way it is. I'm on this medication, and they're getting worse and worse and worse. And I said, but do you realize someday medications don't work? And then what are you gonna do? Instead, let's get in and look at what's going on and work on the detoxification, the nourishing, work on pathogens holistically, okay, without medication, without prescription drugs. And again, I don't tell people ever to get off their medications, but I just share that there is a better way, okay? And that's what I think is the best thing, again, is listen to your body, know when something's wrong, and keep digging. And if you're going to the same doctors over and over, it's like a hamster on a wheel. Try something different. Try somebody different. I don't think it's called alternative anymore, alternative therapy or holistic. I think it should be mainstream therapy.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. So what's the most common challenge to health and wellness you are seeing in your practice right now?
I will go literally from infants, babies, little toddlers, all the way up to my 102-year-old patient. I think the number one thing is being malnourished. And again, if you look at your diet and literally just put it in your iPhone all day long, get a little piece of paper, scribble down just for a day or two what you're eating from the moment you wake up to when you go to bed. It's as simple as that. And if you look at it and you go, my goodness, I don't see any greens in here. I didn't have any salad. I didn't have any vegetables. You know, got up, had my coffee, my bagel. At lunch, I grabbed whatever, a sandwich or you know, fast food, God forbid, but fast food, you know. And then now it's dinner time and you're like, let's just order pizza because I'm tired, or let's order, you know, there's no nutrition in that. If you stop again and think about the food you're putting in your mouth, ask, is this whole food? Is it real raspberries? Is it real beets? Or is it canned beets? I mean, there's a big difference between the two, you know, and try to eat whole food, you know, and I think that's a big part of it.
So how do you introduce, I know the fast food, and how do you introduce the leafy green into the diet, for example, to the teenager?
Okay. If the teenager won't eat greens, and I had a child or two like that growing up, you know, when they were little, what I do is I'm like, you just have to have one bite. That's when they're little. You know, my rule in my house was you had to have one bite of something to try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it, but you at least have to try it. I think there's a little way of cheating today also, because there's so many fabulous green powders out there, okay, which is organic broccolis and Brussels sprouts and, you know, whatever. You can always get a green powder mix, you know, and put it in a smoothie. You know, you can also add it to food, you know, and you know, like little kids especially, like applesauce or, you know, whatever, just put a little bit in a teaspoon and just give them a teaspoon of that. And they don't know the difference, but you are getting some greens in the diet as well. You know, because there are kids that just hate vegetables, and I understand that. But you got to start with some baby steps, and if need be, and then the third step would be supplements. Okay, and again, a teenager can swallow a pill or you know, take a chewable tablet or something like that. So I think those are always a good idea as well. But I'm going to caution again, be careful what you buy in the way of powders these days. A lot of them are adulterated with so much garbage. You want to really stick with the good stuff. And I'm not going to name particular brands, but a lot of the popular greens and, you know, the veggies and the fruits, those companies that have the chewable tablets and all, a lot of them are full of sugar. But you don't know that. You think that they're organic and they're great, and they're not. So just a suggestion.
Yeah, but so how do the listener know, like, how to pick the right one though?
I just say try your best to look at labels and look for organic whole food. And there's a couple of brands that are like that. And then there's a lot of brands that are not like that. A lot of supplements and vitamins today are nutraceuticals. A nutraceutical is a man-made vitamin. And a lot of these big expensive vitamin companies use nutraceuticals. Okay, so I'm going to say I use a lot of Standard Process and MediHerb because they're organic whole food. And it's going way back since the 1920s, 1930s. So it just really makes a difference of the origin of, for instance, of the iron that you're using. Are they using iron ore, which is a rock? Okay, like things like Total Cereal has iron in it. Or do you want condensed organic spinach in a tablet? It makes a big difference. The body can use the food, but we can't use elements. We just don't know what to do with them.
So, but not everybody understand what's the nutraceutical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
can you explain a little bit about that?
Well, I'll give you an example. Calcium is a great example. If you go and pick up a bottle of any vitamin you have, or cereal or Wonder Bread or whatever, and they all say now with calcium, there are over 300,000 kinds of calcium out there. So most of them use calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is limestone or chalk, okay? Literally chalk that you write on a chalkboard with. Calcium carbonate, when you take it into the body, it has to be neutralized. Anything you put in your body has to be neutralized, just like distilled water, which I'll talk about in a second. If you put calcium carbonate in your body's going to leach out calcium to neutralize the carbonate. because that's what it has to do. So it can actually, contribute to osteoporosis. So you want things more like calcium lactate, which is one of the most assimilable calciums that are out there. That's just an example. Okay, so you got to look at your like, again, read the labels, and again, it's discernment. You got to learn and understand what the different vitamins are and what the basic is.
Yeah, because not everybody have the knowledge, knowing, like, the process of the calcium in order to be absorbed in our body. It has so many steps, and
Right.
just like calcium latte make it easier to be
Right.
absorbed in our body.
Right.
Yeah. And so tell me about the distilled water.
Distilled water, a lot of people drink distilled water because they say it has nothing in it. But again, when you put nothing in a liquid into your body, it's got to be neutralized. So it's going to pull minerals out of your body to neutralize that water. So if you're drinking things like distilled water, you need to take exterior minerals into your body. And again, organic whole food minerals, not a lot of these mineral companies that are putting out minerals that are coming from different sources that are like a nutraceutical. Okay, you got to replace the minerals. So that's a big part of it also.
So how do you tell, without doing all the lab tests, like how do you know like your body needs this mineral?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, Dr. Kime. I have a fantastic, and you do also, a piece of equipment called an HSR. It's called a heart sound recorder. And what a heart sound recorder does is it measures the rate, the rhythm, and the tone of your heart. And through your 4 valves of your heart, your mitral, your tricuspid, your aortic, and your pulmonary valves, I am able to determine nutritionally what is going on in the body. That includes mineral deficiency. It includes the strength or the weakness of the heart, and also just a whole plethora of things, how your kidneys are functioning, your respiratory, your cholesterol, and so forth. It's not numbers. It doesn't measure numbers. It is not a diagnostic tool. I want to make that clear, but it shows you phenomenal information about the body, especially the heart itself. And just on that note, I have seen teenagers with not such a great heart, okay, with a lot of issues. And that can come from your energy drinks, all that caffeine. It can come from excessive amounts of caffeine. And it can come from prescription drugs and alcohol. I mean, there's all kinds of things that affect the heart, and especially with what's going on today, the virus. I won't say what it is, but it's a great idea to get your heart checked out. It really is. It's a phenomenal tool to have, and it's on my website also, so they can always go there and read about it.
Okay, and so that so who is a health and wellness innovator you admire and respect?
I got so many.
You
I have
can.
so many. The one that I'm really into right now is Dr. Lee, Dr. Royal Lee, who is the originator of Standard Process MediHerb. I mean, his work is just phenomenal, and I'm so grateful to the teaching that I get from Standard Process West to keep learning, from Joseph Antel and Dr. Keppel. I mean, there's just so many great teachers, and Mark Anderson, and I'm just so grateful because I'm constantly in school, I'm constantly learning, but I just respect these people so much, and I have grown and learned so much. And I'm so appreciative because in turn, what I learned, then I can pass on to other people. And as I pass them on to my patients, they go tell other people. And I think that's what it's all about. We're here to love one another and to share with one another and to encourage one another and uplift one another. And I think that's what's really missing today.
Are there any new health and wellness trends you want to try?
There's always new things. The question is, some of them I'm just not so sure I would try. One is the cryptotherapy, where they put you in the sub-zero, I don't know, I might try something of that. But recently I have just done ozone IV therapy with an ultraviolet light. So it was an IV, they took blood out of my arm, they mixed it with ozone, they passed it back through a UV light and put it back in my body. And that was really awesome. I've done that quite a few times. And I did that because, again, I have Lyme disease, which is a blood disease. These spirochetes come out once a month, reproduce, then they're in your connective tissue. And I was going through a little spell of this external rash on my face and my neck that I had. And I just, I had to go to the hospital a couple weeks ago. They had not a clue what was wrong. So I came home and took care of it myself and, did this UV ozone, which was really awesome. So I've done that. I also, what was the other thing? Oh, I was thinking about stem cells also. I have a little bit, it has to be the right type of stem cells, whether they take my stem cells, I don't know, that's down the road. I'm not so sure about that, but that's one possibility. I also have a infrared sauna. I also have a red light. I've done so many things. I have a PEMF. It's a pulsed electromagnetic field machine. It's $20,000, but it's amazing. It's sort of like a beamer, but it's much stronger. So it's phenomenal. I use it with my patients for inflammation and pain. And it's 19,000 Gauss, which is a lot of magnetic pulse. It's like a TENS unit on steroids. So it helps with Parkinson's, with shake. It helps with memory. It's amazing for healing. I've had a patient with brain surgery that the healing was amazing. I had a 14-year-old teenage girl that broke her ankle and she healed in 4 weeks and the doctors were shocked because of this PEMF machine. So I get some really great cases. I had one gentleman that they wanted to cut off his foot. He had a severe diabetic sore that went down to the bone. And they went to the doctors and said, we have to amputate, we have to. And I said, well, let's try this. So we soaked it. We put this Argentine 23 gel on it. It's a hydroxyl silver gel. We kept packing it with that, soaking it in salt water, doing the PMF machine, and it completely healed. It was an amazing story. And he was so grateful. He didn't lose his leg or his foot. So that was another really great story. So I love things like that.
So how long patient on the PEMF, the mat?
When it's not a mat.
It's a machine.
I have a mat, but I also have coils. They're coils. So it's like a little double circle and you put it over the shoulder and it's 3 to 6 minutes. So I get a lot of people with frozen shoulder or the severe pain up in the neck and the shoulders, and you put it on here and they can only raise their arm so high. And when I do it, they can completely raise their arm up here. No pain or whatever, it's completely gone.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. It takes inflammation down out of the knees. So if you get that blown up knee or your knee is killing you, lower back pain all the time. And I see a lot of urinary bladder, a lot, especially with women. Men don't want to admit it as much, but a lot of women with urinary bladder. And that is not due to childbirth, because I used to have it and I've had C-sections. So you can't say it's childbirth. You see, they always push it off on something. Like I say, don't ever accept, if something doesn't feel right, if somebody tells you something, keep researching. There's a better cause. There really is. And there's always a cure, I tell my patients, unless you fell and severed your spinal cord. That I can't fix, obviously. But anything nutritionally, it can always be fixed. Give the body what it needs, the body heals itself. That's what I feel.
So for the patient who cannot come to see you, and we are in a COVID really stressful time. So how will you have advice for people to decrease the stress?
Okay. I do a lot of phone consultations. I have patients all over the world. I was very blessed back in 2003. I wrote an article for Allergy Research Group in their Focus magazine, and it went worldwide. And from then, I've just had recommendations. I don't advertise at all. So I do a lot of phone consults. People can call me. We do an hour consultation on the phone, and I get them connected to the right places and the right things, and start working on their health, working long distance. And then I also have patients. I have a lot of patients that travel and come see me and stay in New Jersey. And you know me, I'd open my house and let them stay with me, but my husband said no. We just had 6 kids move out. He's like, no. But they stay at a local hotel and they stay for a day or two, and it's just amazing. I give them tremendous TLC and a lot of learning. So they leave with a lot of hope.
Is there anything you want to share with everyone?
There's one more thing I wanted to say that I didn't say earlier. I was talking about being malnourished, that we all basically are malnourished, okay? I can't eat enough food in a day to get the proper amount of minerals and vitamins and all the things that I really need. I don't eat a lot. I just don't have a big appetite. So what I find a lot is it has to do a lot with hormonal, okay? Male and female. But people think, oh, what does that word mean? It means estrogen, or it means, No, it starts with the brain. It starts with the pituitary and the hypothalamus up in the brain, and even the pineal gland where you make your melatonin for sleep. A lot of people aren't sleeping, due to stress, due to weak adrenals is what it is. So it starts in the brain, and then it cascades down through your thyroid, adrenal. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I see in my practice. Weak thyroid, weak adrenal, okay? And they'll come in again with their blood work and say, but my TSH is 5, 6. I'm like, that's hypothyroid. Well, my doctor said it's fine. I said, well, let's just try something and see if it works. And it always does. So it's awesome to help them, again, with hormonal issues, because that's the basis, I feel, for everything. You get your hormones straight, your heart strong, you're going to do great.
Awesome. So, how can listener connect with you?
I'm sorry, how can what?
How can listeners to connect with you?
Okay, so I have a website. It's Dr. Sue Massie, DrSueMassie.com. And on there is my phone number, my email. There's all the information about the heart sound recorder. I also do Zyto, ZYTO, which is, Zyto is galvanic skin response. So again, it's like an analysis of the body and so forth. My PMF is on there also, the pulse electromagnetic field. And my information is all there. And they can call my office, which is 732-933-4011. And from there, you can get a hold of me. And my email is just SueMassie45. Although I already told you I'm 64. SueMassie45 at AOL.com.
You're just great. You're just awesome. So thank you so much. Share your story and your experience and everything you did for your patients. And based on what we talked today, I want to get everybody the 24-hour challenge, like hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I think the key thing is more than 70% of our body needed water. And so it will be the best for you to drink, like let's say if you are 100 pounds, you have to drink 50 ounces of the water, right?
Right.
And so I really think Americans are really not drinking water at all.
Right. I have a secret. Want to know the secret?
Yes.
I show all my patients. I have it right here. Put a straw in your glass. As silly as that is, if I take this glass of water, I will take a sip. It will take me all day to drink this 8 ounce. When I put a straw in it, I drink this much at a time. I'll drink a lot more water with the straw. I show my patients this all the time. The second thing that you could do, I take a glass pitcher and I fill it with 8 glasses of water in the morning. And by dinner time, a little after dinner time, it has to be pretty much gone. So then I know how much water I'm drinking. And the third thing is plastic bottles. I have glass containers, the bottles, the sip bottles, but they're glass. And I carry those with me, if I'm in my car or whatever. When you're drinking out of plastic, all those plastic bottles, not only are they bad for the environment, as we all know, but they're full of xenoestrogen, fake estrogen. And that's what contributes to breast cancer. Okay. And all that fake estrogen also goes into little boys and causes pre-puberty and all that other stuff for boys and girls. Okay. So you just think of that, all that plastic that we're putting in our body.
Awesome. So what will you say to the man who doesn't like to drink water?
Add fruit to it. Add some fresh raspberries, drink it. Add a little squeeze of lemon, add a little squeeze of lime. Oranges, I love oranges in particular. So I buy organic oranges and I'll just cut a wedge of orange and squeeze it in it and drink that. In the summer, you can put water, you can put ice in it as well. I am not a fan of stevia. Okay. I don't think it's the best thing for you, in my opinion. So with that fake sweetener, so if you really don't want to drink like just lemon water, I mean, I use sugar in the raw for my family instead, just a little bit of sugar or whatever. But I think that's a lot better than a Coca-Cola. Okay. So I'm like, choose your poison. I always try to go for the better choice, just like I was talking earlier about fast food. If I'm really, really, really stuck and I'm somewhere way out somewhere and I can't find anything to eat, I'll go to like a Wendy's over McDonald's, and get a salad, something like that. So I know it's somewhat healthy with grilled chicken. You know what I mean? It's making the better choice than getting the big old greasy cheeseburger with the bacon and French fries. And I know that's great and it's delicious, but you can have that once in a while, but not all the time. That's the problem. But they pack those things with sugar and salt that you just want more and more. And stay away from Oreo cookies. That's my other big advice. They got a particular ingredient in there that really is like addictive. It's like cocaine. Oreo cookies. That's why you can't eat just one. So I don't even have them in the house.
Oh, wow.
Not to pick on Oreo cookies, I know, but I make everything homemade. If I want to make chocolate chip cookies, I make them homemade, but I use gluten-free flour. I use Pamela's flour, which is gluten-free, and I make them all organic. And they're delicious. They taste just like chocolate chip cookies, but a lot healthier for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your wisdom.
Dr. Kime.
Yeah, yeah, we appreciate your time.
Great.
Thank you so much. We will talk to you later.
Terrific.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Kime. Have a great day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye.